Today, I'm tearing down 2 SEO landing pages with the exact playbook that we use to generate hundreds of qualified calls for our SEO clients every single month. One of these pages converts at roughly triple the rate of the other, and the gap comes down to about 5 fixable mistakes. On the left, over here, we have Michael Kelly, injury lawyers based out of Boston. Over on this side, we're going to be going over O'Neill Plumbing Company out of West Seattle. They've been in business since 1917, over a century of legacy. And we're going to go over exactly why. No one asked for this audit. Everything is public information, and we're going to tear into these profiles right now. So what are you guys going to get in this video? First off, we're going to go over the broken and incorrect H1 and just SEO bones of the website and why one of these pages is tilted more towards keywords than the other. Second, we're going to go over local wording and the opportunity that these companies are sitting on without even knowing it. Third, obviously, social proof, because you need to make sure that you have the Google Business logo tied to those 5-star reviews for more authenticity. We're going to show a little bit of that later on. Fourth, we're going to look at contact friction and why a burst pipe changes everything about how your page needs to work as a home service company. These need to be up here, apparent, and obvious to every single one of your searchers. One of these landing pages does it well, one of them doesn't. And fifth, finally, internal linking, which might be the most important point in this entire video, given where Google's heading right now with AI content. There's also a hidden sixth point at the end of this video that some SEO owners swear doesn't work. I'm going to talk about why I disagree with that and why I think it's actually helping rank some of these pages right now. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to grade your own landing page against all 6 of these checkpoints, whether you're a one-truck operation or a firm buying the most expensive clicks in America. This video is going to help you out. So first off, why does this actually matter, right? SEO traffic arrives warm. These people searched for your service and they found you organically and clicked with intent already in hand, which is why landing pages built for SEO traffic should be converting somewhere between 15 to 18% if built correctly, based on what we've seen across our entire client base. Now, if you run a typical paid traffic or some sort of paid media campaign, your page is going to be converting about an 8% on a good day because cold traffic just has to be convinced a lot more. They're not actually searching for you. The warm traffic that SEO provides just needs to be caught. And that spread is the entire economics of this industry because that's why SEO leads are so sought after. The same landing page effort applied to warm traffic returns nearly double what it returns on cold traffic. And a landing page with friction drops that warm traffic on the floor. Which means all that work that we do for SEO is going to be basically worthless if we're not actually focusing on the conversion rate optimization, the CRO checklist in this video to ensure we're actually converting the traffic that we get from SEO. So let's start off with mistake number 1, the wrong H1 and weak SEO bones. So we're going to pull up Michael Kelly, injury lawyers here, and you can see his H1 is Boston Personal Injury Lawyers, which I'm a huge fan of. This is done correctly. It's right on the nose, right? And some people don't like to do this with their SEO. Some people think this is keyword stuffing or too aggressive. I say it's just simple, plain, and to the point. This is exactly what people are searching for in the SERPs for these kinds of services. Let's take a look further at the title, Boston Personal Injury Lawyers, Michael Kelly Injury Lawyers. Description still littered with these keywords in here, right? This is what good technical on-page SEO is, okay? You want to make sure your H1 has on-point keywords in it. Very, very simple. A lot of people try and dress this up, talk about services, or try and dance around the keyword terms, use a bunch of adjectives. We've A/B tested this across dozens of client campaigns, and 9 times out of 10, just putting the H1 with a direct keyword like this is going to be more beneficial. We can keep going here, look at the contact form, which is up here in the hero section, which I like. That's usually best practice. One thing I want to add on here, just below the fold, let's take a look just briefly. These icons right here, I like them. I think they add a ton of authority to the site. However, it would be a little bit better if we added a no-follow link to each one of these to actually show where these reputable badges and accreditations actually were given to them on third-party websites. It can be argued that sometimes you detract from the on-page SEO by doing this, but we found in most of our A/B tests, as long as you put a no-follow and Google's crawlers and spiders don't actually follow that link off, but still can see it's linked to a credible website, we found success with that. More on that later. It's much more of an advanced type concept. So let's just kind of keep scrolling through here. As you know, if you've been following along with the previous videos, we're going to talk about H2s for a second. And again, I'll bet you those are H2s. Yeah, what to expect during the personal injury client process or claim process. So I'm happy with this. We got a keyword in here. don't necessarily have the location word. SEO is more of an art than a science. Remember, you can't always just use the same patterns over and over again. So I'm okay with that. Client testimonials, I may have wanted to put one more location and keyword in here. Not always necessary. We're going to talk about this content in a little bit later on in the video. Right here, this is perfect. Another H2, Boston Personal Injury Lawyers. Look at them use this keyword over and over again throughout their page. This is what you want to be doing for your on-page optimization right now. It is so crucial you get these keywords in there. You review our case results and settlement history. This is fine. Could spam some more keywords. I want to say this really quick too, is like personal injury lawyer, SEO in the United States. I always tell my clients and anyone who I'm hiring or my team members, this is the NFL of SEO. It does not get more competitive than this. Huge high retainers, huge LTV for clients, and they usually have budget to pay some of the best SEOs in the world to work on these. We've worked alongside some of these campaigns in the past. Now, everything that I say in this video, according to what Michael Kelly Injury Lawyers has on their site, take it almost with a grain of salt. Everything that I'm actually going to criticize in this video on this landing page, I'll bet you anything, these guys have already tested. So again, SEO is more of an art than a science, and we're trying to diagnose exactly what the trends are here, what are they using, and what are usual best practices that they're using for their keyword integration across their page in their HTML. So take it with a grain of salt. A lot of this is going to be very nuanced, which is why I give them a pretty high score, because I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt, thinking that they've actually got a lot more of this SEO figured out than we probably think, and any critique here is more or less just nitpicking. So anyways, back to the video here with more of the HTML breakdown. Looking at Michael Kelly Injury Lawyers, trusted Boston personal injury law firm. I love that. Again, keyword stuffed in there organically. We don't see a lot of internal links coming off the homepage, which I actually agree with. I don't want to be detracting too much of that power from the homepage to other service and other location pages. Looks like we got some more Boston personal injury attorneys. We got each profile through here. I bet these link off. Oh, maybe they don't link off those pages. Okay, they've probably tested that. Let's keep looking here. Multiple Massachusetts locations to serve you. I love this. This is perfect. You want to be linking to your main core key pages over here for your service area pages. And if we just look at it briefly, sure enough, it goes to the actual location page over there, which I like. Let's see, scrolling down through, we got each one of the services highlighted here. We've got a resource center. Very happy with that. Little centered section for a CTA. Why choose them? Their little about section. Little drop downs over here, free consultation, and of course, a contact form in the very bottom. Overall, the bones of this page, very, very good. We'll talk more about this later. This is an interesting little caveat with this page. But overall, I mean, the bones of this page, 9.5 out of 10. Most of what I'm doing here is just nitpicking. So on the flip side, we're going to go take a look at O'Neill Plumbing next. So right off the bat, their title tag mentions West Seattle Plumbers since 1917. So credit where credit's due. These guys have been in business for a long time. They've got a great legacy. But let's start looking what's actually on the page. So if we pull up over here and look at their headings, their H1 is non-existent. We have an H2 at best. And the H2, unfortunately, just reads clean, fast, professional. Now, that might be great for branding, but compare these two H1 side by side. One that's going to be optimized, that's going to say something along the lines of Seattle's best plumber versus clean, fast, and professional, or even the business name. It's not really what the H tag is designed for. It's not meant to be a business slogan, a business name, anything like that. Google is looking for you to declare exactly what keyword the searchers are coming to the page for front and center. And you can do that best by using that in your H1 tag. And unfortunately from here, I can't even really go on to grade their H2s just because they barely exist. We've got one H2 here, as you can see from our dev tools, just so you guys know I'm not pulling your leg. We got an H2, we got a bunch of H3s, and unfortunately, that's about it. For the bones alone for this site, I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 10. The fixed costs basically nothing, maybe an afternoon's worth of work. All they need to be doing is building out more on-page SEO with the H2 skeletons with the keywords built underneath it. Use terms just with Seattle and plumbing in it, like Seattle Sewer and Line Service, Seattle Emergency Plumbing Services. Each one of these section headings needs to carry a keyword and then organize real, true content that is related to that keyword in that H2 below it throughout the page. Just like Kelly did, right? We scrolled through this just a few minutes ago and talked about this. Look at each one of these H2s. It has an H2 that has the keyword and the location plainly displayed in it, and then content below it. That's what these guys are missing, and it would probably take all of about 2 to 3 hours with some AI to actually edit this. Now, quick pause for just a second. If you're already pulling up your own page and finding the slogan where the H1 should be, Don't worry, it's totally normal. Most pages I audit on our discovery calls have at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 or 5 of these problems sometimes. And luckily, every single one of them is actually fixable. This is the same system behind nearly $7 million in SEO leads we've generated for our clients over the past 4 years. If you want us to grade your landing page, book a call at the first link in the description right here. Now, back to the video. Now, mistake number 2 that I see is a lack of local wording. Google always ranks local pages that actually sound local. I know, what a concept. Let's take a look at the Kelly page and watch the signals stack up. As we scroll down here, there's going to be photos of Boston. There are going to be projects they've actually done, right? Case studies they've actually done, and other service areas they've actually built out throughout the Boston and greater Massachusetts area. Now, you don't want to be drowning the page in it, and there's real nuance here worth naming. Local content density is something you tune per niche, and sometimes the algorithm rewards restraint, so a firm at this level has probably A/B tested exactly how much of this market is actually rewarding the local content. Take my density notes, again here, with a grain of salt. What matters are the signals that are unmistakably there and the supporting structure that goes just a little bit deeper. A resource center with blogs, case pages, and a 30-day risk money-back guarantee block all are giving the location page something to actually stand on. Google reads this page and never has to wonder where exactly these lawyers practice. As you guys can see here, it cleanly lays out the service pages and always has this Boston wording across all the H2s. Even their FAQs carry local content all the way down here at the very bottom. Now, there is an M- down here in the copy on the FAQs, which I think they shouldn't probably have on the page, but just goes to show even the pros slip up sometimes. Now let's go take a look at O'Neill for a second, because they offer comprehensive plumbing support across the Seattle area. But where are the projects? Where are the photos, right? We get that they operate in West Seattle in the greater Seattle area. We see that appear near the top, obviously Seattle and East Side. We get a little bit of content through here talking about how they've been around since 1917, some services listed out. But what makes this genuinely painful is the company's been operating since 1917, over a century, and we don't have any kind of projects or legacy built out on the site. They've got a great about page, credit where credit's due over here. I read through this, it sounds like great content. Some of this should be on the homepage actually, but where are the projects, the legacy? What these guys need to be doing is taking a lot of these projects, legacy content, and everything that they've actually done over this century and posting it on their homepage, building up that local authority, showing the projects, the reviews, the families, the community they've actually impacted, talking about the neighborhoods and streets they've serviced. I imagine these guys have probably also done a number of commercial jobs in the past as well. We just don't see a lot of that. And that's the big miss for this profile. These guys could probably tweak this again in about an afternoon. Unfortunately, the local content is just bare. And with a legacy like this, they're sitting on an absolute gold mine. So overall for O'Neill, unfortunately, I probably got to give these guys another about 2 or 3 out of 10 for their local wording. But if they had the right SEO content and actually all that local content pulled onto their homepage and across the rest of their website with all the services, I'd probably give them something like a 9.5 out of 10. With a brand and legacy like this, again, they're just sitting on a gold mine. These guys should run very, very simple SEO to the homepage and probably see incredible rank changes. All right, mistake number 3 is social proof. And Kelly, again, does this pretty well. We're going to go take a look at a carousel of testimonials down here. They've got 5 stars that are showing up. Overall, this is pretty good, and the only upgrade I would probably add to this is just adding the Google logo and somehow tying those reviews back to the profile. It's simple, it's not that hard to do, and it's going to show a lot more authenticity to Google to show these are actually real Google reviews with the logo that's actually styled and matched and linking back to the GBP. It needs to feel as native as possible. Now, I could nitpick here on the carousel just a little bit itself. The sizing could be tightened a little bit. Maybe it could autoplay too, but again, I'm kind of nitpicking. Again, everything I say about this landing page specifically for this homepage, take it with a grain of salt, right? It's the NFL of SEO here. I'm just trying to find something to criticize. I bet these guys have already A/B tested that. Pulling up O'Neill as a contrast and we scroll through, we've got a carousel down here and we don't have any stars, right? It is so important to have 5 stars up there. It's a social signal. The psychology makes people trust you a lot more, and I'm sure these guys have them all over their Google business profile. Plugins are a dime a dozen for WordPress these days. There's no excuse not to have these on the site. Credit where credit's due. It is styled. They have the business colors in there, which is nice, but there's not any 5 stars littered across these reviews. I'd also probably put 3 side by side, or maybe even 4 on this page, and not just one front and center. Food for thought. And maybe an autoplay as well. I usually like to have autoplay so when someone scrolls by, they actually see a few reviews. So am I nitpicking a little bit? Yeah, probably. Is it going to help with conversion rate optimization and the whole CRO play? Definitely so. Food for thought. Given this, I'd give the CRO aspect of the review for O'Neill probably a 5 or 6 out of 10. And then for, of course, Boston personal injury lawyers with Michael Kelly over here, again, probably a 9, but take that with a grain of salt. Now, mistake number 4 is contact friction, okay? Here's the rule. The user should never, ever have a moment when they're on the page and they can't find out how to contact you, okay? Contact form the hero, standard practice. Of course, Kelly nailed this, right? Their SEO team knows what's going on. Up here, contact 24/7. They've got the phone. This is actually clickable, so on mobile, you can just dial them immediately. Contact Lawyer Now buttons are basically all throughout the page. We can scroll down here. We see a few, well, this is a settlement button. They got Contact Us Now, Contact Your Lawyer Now. We got more down here, see all practice areas, Contact Us Now, another contact page at the bottom. Overall, I'm just a pixel away from ever contacting these guys on the page. And whenever I scroll, we got a sticky navigation with the contact information up here, okay? Very, very important. Now, notice the layering. The form is for people who prefer to type, and the phone is for anyone who needs to call right now. They even have this little AI widget over here where you can actually begin to chat with. 3 different comfort levels, all served simultaneously, so the page never bets on one kind of visitor. Now, think about who lands on the plumbing page. Let's go take a look for a second. If I show up here with a burst pipe at 2 a.m., my basement's flooding with sewage, I don't want to have to scroll around the site and try and find the smallest phone number and how I can contact these guys. I want a contact form up front. I have 0 patience. I've got sewage in the basement. I need to call these guys immediately, right? I want a giant phone number up there. I want to know they're available 24/7. I want to know how I can call these guys and schedule an immediate emergency assistance right now. How can I get a plumber to my house in the next 30 minutes, right? O'Neill, unfortunately, just doesn't quite pass this test. We have request appointment, but it's kind of passive wording, to be honest. I would want to know if I landed on this page and I needed sewer repair immediately, I want to know I can call these guys right now. The phone number might be a little bit hard to find. I don't want to request an appointment. I need to basically just demand an appointment. And in that case, in an emergency situation, the customer would be right? We want to make sure that the button is built into the entire landing page. We want buttons over here for contact for emergency services, one of the advertising emergency services. So every single one of these aspects reduces the friction and returns those searchers into leads. Every one of these features on a landing page reduces the friction, and that friction that's being reduced is going to turn that searcher into an actual lead, and then ideally into $signs. Warm SEO traffic can convert at 15% plus, precisely because the visitor already wants that service. Friction is the only thing standing between that intent, your phone ringing, and you guys booking a job. That's what we need to be focused on. If I sign these guys today, a contact form is going in the hero section. We are stuffing this with contact now buttons, 24/7 emergency service, provided they offer it, which it looks like they do, and a contact form down here at the footer, for sure. Now, mistake number 5 is internal linking, okay? And it's not the most important point of the whole video. Internal links basically do 2 jobs. Job 1 is crawlability. Google spiders move throughout the site by following links and pages, and if none of those are actually pointing to each other, the crawlers can't go anywhere, okay? The homepage is basically the most powerful page of your entire site. You don't always want internal links actually leaving the page, but it can help with user engagement, which helps with CRO. Let's talk about that for just a second. If you have internal links down here, Google is actually looking at that and seeing that the users can land on the page and then click through the site and start looking at other content. Let's take a look at the other service area pages that are linked. Here they are. So it's these guys right here. Kelly runs this principle extremely well. Practice area links and auto accident links landing on the dedicated Boston car accident lawyer page and the locations grid. Now, really, this matters for a few reasons. Users need to be on the site longer, okay? Google is paying attention to bounce metrics these days and seeing exactly who engages on the site. And they're going to be rewarding those websites that actually keep the users engaged and live on the website for a lot longer times. Higher rankings, higher CTR, higher conversions. I know it's a little bit of a stretch to call this a CRO optimization, but it is going to make the users a little bit happier and prioritize and let them find more content on the website that they're actually interested in, that they can stick around the website for and eventually reach out and contact. This isn't the biggest key of this video, although it is a very, very important SEO practice that I did want to touch on just briefly. So there you guys have. And of course, stopping by O'Neill over here, we've got just about no internal linking, right? And it does help with the readability of the article on the website as well. Most users are used to seeing hyperlinks that are going around to other internal pages, and it's just good readability and best practice in content. So again, O'Neill's kind of lacking over in this regard. I don't think they have a single anchor text actually, which is really unfortunate because that about page is so great. So overall, I'd probably give these guys probably a 1, a courtesy 1 out of 10 for this scoring for internal linking. And these guys, again, probably a 9. Now, short little bonus for anyone who's actually made it this far, little additional SEO tip for you guys is embedding the Google Business Profile iframe with your name, address, and your phone number visible. So it's a little bit debated in the SEO community whether this is actually useful. We've A/B tested this across maybe a dozen or so campaigns, and it can help. Interestingly enough, Michael Kelly over here does not actually have the embedded Google Business Profile. This is just a custom widget that they had made that's custom for the site. I don't know if I would agree with this, but again, take it with a grain of salt. These guys probably know more than all of us combined. Let's scroll down here. This is interesting, and I want to point this out in the video just briefly. This is more of an advanced SEO strategy, okay? Theoretically, they would have all these embedded little iframes down here of all their other Google Business Profiles, their name, their address, and their phone number. But if you look very closely, these are actually images, which is incorrect, okay? These guys should have embedded Google Business Profiles as iframes, not just an image that just signals where the business profile is. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe these guys have tested it or something, but it is really interesting. Now, finishing up on O'Neill over here, and of course, no Google Business Profile embed, right? No form down here at all, and for them, this would just be a fix in about 30 minutes. Throw a contact form, embed the Google Business Profile, and you could be converting so many more people off this page. So the final score, Michael Kelly Injury Lawyers, I'm going to give about a 9.5 out of 10, and the half point really is holding back because of basically just taste. Again, it's the NFL of SEO. I think these guys probably know what they're doing. I'm going to give O'Neill over here a generous 3 out of 10. I think they could have a lot more clear messaging. They could be doing a lot more internal links, a lot more CTAs, and trying to boost the CRO on the site by quite a bit with everything that we talked about in this video. Not to mention, if the owner actually ever sees this video, contact me. I will literally fix this page for you for free. Because as a business with this kind of story, you guys deserve a page that actually reflects being in business since 1917. The fixed list basically just writes itself. A keyword in the H1, the 1917 legacy, moved to the very front page, starred Google Business Profiles in 3 cards, and recent contact forms up here in the hero, and then down here in the footer. It's pretty simple. A page like this converts a fraction of what it should, and the gap between a page like this and a page like Kelly's is the difference between warm traffic bouncing and warm traffic actually booking on the exact same search domain. So here's the whole point of this video. A landing page wins by proving it's a real place, serving real people, real job history, and real work, and then removing every barrier between belief and a phone call. The landing page that actually won out in this video, obviously, is Michael Kelly Injury Lawyers, right? Again, being in the NFL of SEO, these guys earn about a 9.5 out of 10. Obviously, right? Because all they did was the unglamorous, unsexy things over and over and over again. And that's how these guys probably have a far better conversion rate than the decade or the century-old plumbing company over there in Seattle. The Gap is only doing the very simple, boring stuff on page and getting it right and making sure it's easy for customers to actually reach out. If you would like me to personally grade your page up against all 6 of these metrics and map the rest of your local presence with it, book a call at the first link in the description. If you'd rather run the checklist yourself, again, everything in this video would give you the tools to do it, and all your questions should be answered. If they're not, drop any questions in the comments down below. I'll respond to every single one you guys have. Either way, open up your landing page today. Read your H1 out loud, because if it sounds like a slogan instead of a search term, you know exactly what to do. In the next week, we're going to go a little bit deeper into multi-location theory on the side of SEO and how firms like Kelly actually end up wiring dozens of profiles and location pages together across the whole state to build an entire monopoly across their SEO. So finally, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss that next video if you guys want to catch the advanced version of everything that we just discussed. Talk soon.